Hey guys, this is Chemo Kid 1SS, and we're going to have a second impressions video over the Recon 1. If you watched my upload last night, you saw the first impressions, and after I made that video, I noticed some stuff about this knife, and I read some other things in the catalog, and I thought it was worth mentioning. First off, this will almost be like a review to most folks. I have some more use I want to put this through, but this will almost be kind of like a review, but it really isn't. I'm just going to call it my second impressions video. But I haven't got a whole lot of use on the knife yet, so I'm not going to call it a review. First off, on my second impressions, we have these thumb studs on the Recon 1 Tano and the other side. So it takes a standard screwdriver and you can get that apart. And here is a Voyager. And look at the thumb stud difference. Not that you use the thumb studs a lot on this knife, because check it out, you can use the thumb studs, but you have to have a little bit of wrist flick, or you can do it like that. But mainly you can open it up with inertia. I'm not sure if I got that on camera. But
you did.
I believe these are the best thumb studs I've ever messed with before. They're very nice. They're reminiscent of the old Voyager Volcano thumb studs, which I don't like. These are like an improvement of that. They're super huge, and that texture is almost like jimping in a way. It kind of grabs a thumb, and then you have that super huge thumb stud, and I really like that thumb stud. Not, like I said, not that you really use it all that much, but I really like them. The second thing I noticed is the grind. And I noticed this when I handled the knife at the NRA convention. This grind is super thin. It's actually ground thinner than these full flat grind Voyagers, which actually most hollow grinds, if done traditionally, are thinner than flat grinds because of, I mean, think of a straight razor in a way. It's less than paper thin, but then it thickens up when the wheel stops hitting. But the nice thing about this grind, it goes up decently high and it's thin. So why would you want a hollow grind on a Tano? Well, first off, you can keep the thickness of the tip extremely thick, even to the tip. Although it does taper slightly, but the taper starts here. So you get all that thickness, and then you have these two deep down hollow impressions, hence hollow grind, and this blade is almost like an I-beam in a sense. So that makes it stronger, and then you get this flat grind that is thicker than the hollow grind, and it's relatively thin, but it's still, if you need to do some prying, not that I say pry with a knife, but you can actually pry with a well-designed Tano. Not like a Kershaw Blur. Those Tanos are paper thin at the tip. Don't pry with those, you'll snap them right off. But cold steel, they know how to make a Tano. So we have a very thin grind, which brings me to the Yokote. And if you watched the demonstration last night, I got a phone book, and I just did a flick of my wrist and a drop with the gravity of my arm, and it went through 114 pages. Just a super, pretty easy snap cut. And I grabbed it at the end, did that snap cut, and literally I let go of the handle and the knife was stuck into the phone book paper. That's just incredible. This clip point can also do a snap cut, but not like this. Austin was there to witness it, and it was a pretty amazing thing to see. I'll probably do that again in a video where, it'll be a little bit nicer. Second thing, I got the lock functioning where I feel secure with it. I've noticed with this Vaquero, the lockup is a lot more solid, although this does not play. It has no play in it. But, okay, so hear this. I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to release the lock. Listen really closely. You hear that snap? It's very crisp, and it fits tight. And I'm not sure if you... So, there's a little snap. This Voyager, I've used this for over a year. There's no real snap to that. I'll do it again. And it has a now the blade isn't plain, but I can feel the tolerances give. But I got this thing adjusted, and it has, I can feel a little bit of the tolerances, but I'm definitely, I feel safe carrying this, and there's no play. I just feel that it's not as crisp as this lock. So, and that was a good snap right there. But Austin, he also bought one of these, and he's having somewhat the same issue, but I think we've both agreed that we feel secure with the knives. You feel secure with your knife?
Yep.
Okay, so the lock is good to go. So the grip, I really like it. I fixed the pocket clip, but I grab the knife normally down here if I'm going to do like some vegetation cut, and I really like, not only does it have, what's that called? The
Finger choil.
Finger choil. But we also have a little bit of a thumb wrap, which is very comfortable. And then down here, you know, if you want to do some chopping or something, that feels really nice. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about, and this is one reason why I like to carry these large folders, is that you get so much reach and you can stay legal in Texas. So, okay, this is that you have the reach. The overall length is 12 inches and a quarter, so 12 and a quarter inches. And I wanted to compare that with both the SRK and the Recon Tano. So the SRK has a 6-inch blade, and this is a 7-inch blade. Both combat knives, the grinds are a little bit different. They're meant more for prying and utility rather than slicing. So what we have here is 10 inches overall, just a little bit over 10 inches, and this one is 11 3/4 overall. So with this folding knife with a 5.5-inch blade, you get more reach than this Recon Tano, and the weight is virtually the same as well. So this is 8.2 ounces, and this is 9 ounces. And on the Sami 3 version, this is actually 8.5 ounces, and this weighs approximately 8 ounces. They took the clip point version and the Tano version, and they, you know, just did the weights together, and they got approximately 8 ounces. So virtually, you have the same amount of weight. You have more overall length than the Tano. The Yokote is more pronounced and a thinner grind. So what I'm saying here is, if we got 2 pieces of meat, took this out of the box from the factory and took this out of the box from the factory, and we did snap cuts, I think you would find that this would snap cut better than even this Recon Tano. Now this one would be better for combat because it has a more robust grind. But as far as fighting, not that we do that often. Always use rationality and less lethal ways, you know, to get out of situations. But I think this would be a better option in a way, if you can kind of, you know, catch my drift, because of the reach, more pronounced Yokote, and the thinner grind. That adds up to more. Not only do you have the weight of this knife, more speed because of the reach, but that abrupt angle is just going to cut more than this angle. This is almost rounded, and we know it snap cuts because you've seen the videos. So let's see. One second. Anyways, I wanted to show y'all the Warcraft Tano from Cold Steel. I got the handle, there it is. So this knife right here and this knife is actually the same overall length. So you're going to get the same amount of reach as this. This has a thicker grind and this has a thinner grind. So for the money, you're getting a lot of use, and you have an extremely thin edge with a very well pronounced Yokote. So I'm extremely excited about this knife. My brother, it's probably going to be a few weeks because I'm going to start the firecracker stand Monday, but we're going to do another pork man test with a meat tenderloin on a piece of bamboo, and he's actually going to snap cut the pork, and we're going to compare that with his Satsu. It's not the Satsu.
Otanashi no Ken.
Otanashi no Ken. And we already know this is going to do better because not only is it a bigger knife, but the grind is superior. And that's another thing. The edge out of the box is just great. Let's see. Very good. See how cleanly that shaves?
I don't think the camera's... Well, you can kind of see it.
See the, you know, that's just smooth now. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was very impressed with the edge, and it doesn't look like we have the issues with some cold steel folders. And this is hard to explain. Not everybody's talking about it because it's very hard to explain. But a lot of cold steels, and I've bought many cold steels over the past few years, they come extremely sharp, but the bevels are grounded a little funny. So when you actually have to reprofile it in order to get it to cut correctly. Otherwise, I was chopping some bamboo with a raha, the full-size raha, and what happens since that bevel, it's kind of like an Emerson blade, but
chisel.
Yeah, chisel edge. I'm not sure if it's intentional, but it just happens when you go to strike that bamboo. It'll actually not go all the way through because it starts to curve. You know, kind of torque your handle a little bit.
It's called scooping.
Yeah, we call it scooping. And so if you got an Emerson blade and you cut through the paper, if it's a little dull, it will start to scoop up instead of cut straight. So no problems with this knife though. They put a very nice bevel on it. And I think that's about all I have to say. The pocket clip came tight. So I fixed that and it's working fine now. It's very functional in the pocket, you know, getting in and out. Another cool thing about all cold steels is they come Loctited from the factory. I took this apart to see what was going on with the lock, and turns out it was, you know, exactly what I described in the first impressions. But all these screws from the factory, they come Loctite. Emerson doesn't do that. Microtech doesn't do that.
Benchmade doesn't do it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Spyderco does, and I guess Benchmade doesn't do it either. But, so, all those high-priced knives, and they don't do it, but Cold Steel does it. Another cool thing about Cold Steel, so you take these apart, not only are they simple to take apart, but you get both nylon washers and phosphorus Marana washers. A lot of companies like Spyderco, they either do one or the other. I think Emerson, they only use Teflon washers. So that's really cool, and I think that's about all I have to say right now. But like I said, this is kind of like a review for most people, but I haven't used the knife to its full capacity yet, and I'm really looking forward, and doesn't it look sick? I love the way this handle's made, and I wish they had a stone-washed version, but, you know, it's all good. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching, guys.